Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Well, yeah. Anyway, the title of this game seems a little raunchy, I know. My face will not be in this because right now I look like a hobo and I wanted to play a game anyway. So, let's just see how we feel about that. This is a fictional interactive narrative. Any character resemblances to real life people are purely coincidental. I'll keep that in mind. It's made for PG-16, blah blah blah. Oh, it sounds like it's
Why,
going to be,
hello. My, aren't you a gorgeous sight? Can I be
see me?
honored enough to know your name?
Mika. Sorry, my name is Seda.
A lovely name for
This
a
is my
lovely
story.
person like you. Wonderful.
Thanks, ominous voice.
Eric, do your job.
Very well. This game was produced by Seraphim Entertainment under the direction of Michaela Laws and is powered by Ren'Py Visual Novel Engine. We truly hope you'll enjoy this story. I know I'll enjoy it since you'll be in it.
Thanks, dude. That made me very uncomfortable.
Eric.
Fine, fine. Farewell, my sweet.
Come on! Is that all you got? Wanna try me, asshole?
This is fairly dramatic.
Crap! Missed.
Let's retreat for now.
No kidding. Let's get out of here.
That's right. You better run, you stupid punks! Stay out of our territory!
Can you imagine if this is like a fight between deer? Call it fate or call it coincidence. That one moment of violence started in a chain of events I will never forget.
This formula, created in the 70s, is one of the most important in the field of financial theory. It is used to calculate the price of European-style options and is widely used by option marketers, though there are some discrepancies that are now corrected with the modern viewpoint.
Rain. It's been a long time since we've gotten rain around here, but it's the season for rainy weather, so it's not exactly that surprising. Whoa, dude, except for the green eyes, that chick looks weirdly similar to me, but I guess she would look similar to any Asian girl, huh? Anyway, sorry. Personally, I love the sound of it. The way the raindrops fell, like the soft tapping of fingers. It was so soothing. Even looking at the droplets through the glass of the window was strangely calming. For this reason, I felt lucky for having a seat next to the window, though I did spend more time staring outside than I did pay attention to class. Did you guys ever actually have a window like right next to your desk in school? Because I've been pretty jealous of pop culture representing that, and then getting to school and being like, where the fuck are all the windows? The lectures in class were pretty boring. Mrs. Phillips' voice wasn't soporific, but I just wasn't interested in what she was saying. And since it was the period right before lunch, all I could think about was doing other things in my free time. Honestly, I didn't really care much for economics. Sure, I had good grades in this class, but it was only because I read a textbook and did my assignments as I had to, which is basically all of school, guys. There's a study tip for you. I was only taking this class because it was mandatory. If it were up to me, I probably would have taken another course. Luckily, it was my senior year, so after this semester would mean the end of high school courses forever. Thank God for that. College isn't, that big of a stretch different, guys. I didn't hate high school. Everyone hates high school. You're obviously not on the right track here. It was just kind of mundane how the days drifted on and on as if there were no end to it. The only thing I really enjoyed about going to school was meeting my friends and hanging out with them, but that was kind of it. In short, I was done with high school. The start of second semester brought a note of finality to it. I'd already applied to many universities the semester prior, and I was expecting replies sometime in the next few months. It seemed like the start of something new, something that would change. That is, if things could change. I stared at the faint outline of raindrops at a distance. For now, I was stuck in this class.
Miss Anderson.
Whoa, the animation style for this lady is much different from my own. Mrs. Phillips' raised voice interrupted my train of thought. Just when I was thinking about class, I quickly turned my head to face the teacher. Hopefully she didn't pick me out just because she noticed that I was facing out. I feel like she may have been a little bit more concerned about the fact that the rain just suddenly stopped and it changed to very bright sunlight, and the fact that there's literally no one else in this class anymore. Or the fact that her shirt is very... I'm sorry. I like this game so far. I'm not trying to bag. Yes, ma'am.
Would you care to name the equation I set up on the blackboard?
Oh, I think I read about that in that textbook last night. It should be the Black-Scholes model formula.
Very good as always, Miss Anderson.
Anderson. It followed me wherever I went. Most people didn't really know me by my first name, but rather by my surname. I think it's quite often like that in Japan. No doubt, since the surname was a trademark of the internationally famous and philanthropic Anderson Family Toys, and because the founder was my own grandfather. Suzu, one of my best friends, turned around and proudly gave me a punch to the shoulder.
Kick ass, girl.
She's much larger than I am, but it's okay. We're best friends. From beside me, I heard Naomi, another one of my best friends, clearing her throat in obvious disapproval of Suzu's choice of words.
She means good job.
She's also much larger than me, but she's pretty.
Miss Capini,
Oi.
Oi!
care to tell me who the creators of this formula were?
Some guys named Black and Scholes. Fisher Black and Myron Scholes.
Very good, Miss Patterson.
Show off. Better study next time, Suzu. Be like us and study once in a while.
Suzu rolled her eyes and slouched into her chair as Naomi gave her a small smirk. She always pouted when Naomi showed her up.
That's the end of today's lecture. Now, let's separate into groups and work on your projects. Remember, everything is due on Monday. Go ahead now.
Before I knew it, Suzu and Naomi had scooted their desks to align with mine, and we turned into the Three Musketeers. I wish I had friends. Whenever the teacher let the students decide on groups, we always grouped together in our little trio. It was a sheer stroke of luck that we all managed to be in the same class, so we had to at least take the opportunity and stick together as much as we could. Besides, we were the most comfortable around each other, than, say, compared to being around any other classmate. It just made sense for us to put our heads together for any kind of project. I took out the poster we were working on and rolled it open onto the 3 desks. We were pretty much finished with fulfilling most of the guidelines for the project, though we did still have to add a few finishing touches here and there. After working on making the poster a bit prettier, we sat back and inspected our work to see what we had to do. Naomi, as usual, was the first to look for any issues. She lightly tapped a pencil against her chin and staring intently at the project.
Alright, so let's see. We finished the budgeting section, the building leasing, and the cost for labor. What else do we need?
Suzu straightened up to look at the poster and stroked her chin. After a few seconds, her face brightened as she spoke up.
How about a company name? Huh? Did we really skip over that? Of course we did. You always go straight into the logical statistics and stuff that you completely skip over the fact. We need a name for our project.
Oh, the name is so important.
At least we caught it this time. What do we name it? Not sure.
It always came down to me. Whenever there was something to be named or titled, I was the master in ending decision, even when I didn't want to be.
I like Trinity Corporations. That is way too predictable. How about the Dragon Company? What do dragons have to do with our project? What? It's a totally unpredictable name. It's hot.
I will agree that it's
But
pretty
our
hot.
company sells bubble gum. Who said we can't produce spicy bubble gum? What do you think? Yeah. What do you think?
Both of them looked at me expectantly, even though I wasn't quite sure of myself. I didn't really want to choose sides, but if it were up to me, I would say
Booyah!
Dragon Company. It's pretty
it is.
hot. Got it.
Alright, now that we've decided on a name, now what?
As we ended our name game, a giggle scrambled my thoughts. Huh? Who was that?
Ignore it. It's just Lisette.
I looked over my shoulder to see her laughing with her circle of friends, mostly comprised of popular people that were practically friends with everyone in the school. And as a result, everyone in the school knew them. In the center of all was Lisette White. She sat with a posture that indicated she was still working, but that she also was ready to casually chat about her day. She had an endearing balance of charismatic and awkward, which was readily apparent when she first talked to someone. That's very specific. It was easy to make her laugh and smile, and she was quite the comedian as well. Basically, she was perfect. Not that she was like a robot or something, but she was a student that everyone else wanted to be. Lisette was bright, easygoing, and above all, had her future laid out right in front of her. Unlike the average student, she knew what she wanted to do after high school, and as a result, she was confident and ambitious, though sometimes it could rub a lot of people the wrong way. I can already tell this is going to go way downhill. Moreover, I had known her ever since I was young, but it ultimately resulted in a rivalry that continued today. Of course my friends knew what was between us, and upon seeing me glance at her, they shifted their attention to her.
She doesn't even look like she's working, in my opinion.
She probably is, but she's too much of a stuck-up priss to allow herself to look like she's actually doing work.
Not that I encourage this, it's pretty accurate that your girlfriends dislike whoever you dislike.
Oh, come on, Suzu. She may be a little off-putting, but she's not the giant priss that you're making her seem to be.
The day she isn't a priss is the day I turn into you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Never mind. It's about time. Let's bail.
Unsurprisingly, Suzu was the first out of the classroom, slinging her backpack over her shoulder with ease as she quickly strolled out the door.
Her seat isn't even closest to the exit, and she always manages to be the first one out of the door. I don't think I'll ever understand that.
It's caused by an overwhelming hate of high school.
See? Why can't she just be normal like the two of us?
Girl, I am not normal.
Very true.
Man, you guys are slow. Are you coming or what?
Sorry, I'm
We
not
heard
an
you
Olympic
the first
racer.
time. Not everyone has rocket boosters attached to their legs when the bell rings.
Are you kidding me? That class was ridiculously boring. Even Miss Valedictorian here was dozing off a bit.
I do have to admit I was spacing out, but just because I answered one question doesn't mean I'm automatically a valedictorian.
Okay, so it wasn't too interesting. But you should at least pay attention when Phillips is talking about the important parts.
Voice acting's pretty good at this game. I actually thought she was talking about the valedictorian though.
So you finally admit it. We're finally on the same wavelength. Welcome to the club, Patterson.
Please, don't call me by my last name. This isn't the classroom. And never in a million years will we ever see things eye to eye.
Don't people who want to be distanced from other people don't want them to be called by their first name? Despite this, they both burst out in laughter. Normally, anyone would think that opposites like them would never associate with each other, but even though they were so different, their friendship somehow made a lot of sense. Maybe because they were just perfect complements, or personality just didn't dictate the possibility of the friendship. After all, we three have been best friends since preschool.
Alright, so where are we heading to first? Cafeteria? I think we can all agree that we're really hungry, especially after hearing about our company's line of deliciously spicy bubblegum.
Who would even buy that? I wonder.
Me? I would pay good money to get a taste.
Haha, you do like spicy food after all. We entered the cafeteria, a bustling room filled with aromas of different kinds of foods. As we got in line, we ordered our meals and chatted freely.
Cajun fries and the spicy chicken burger for me. That's my definition of a good meal.
I'll take a tuna sandwich and some juice. You're probably going to need water or something to curb all that spicy flavor, Suzu.
I can't be tamed by the likes of that. If it's spicy, then it's gotta be all or nothing.
You're crazy!
Hell yeah, I'm crazy.
I think I'm getting a migraine.
I'm a neutral party. Oh, whoops. Clicked on something. Once we got our food, we settled down at one of the empty tables, putting our backpacks aside to finally dig into the food. Suzu leaned back in her hair, tilting it back so she could rest her feet and on the table by her food.
Alright then. Is there anything we want to talk about?
Bored already?
I know. Let's talk about...
Say boys, and I will never speak to you ever again.
Aw, why not?
What's so interesting about talking about guys? It's not like any of us are gonna get boyfriends anytime.
We don't know that. What if one of us does get a boyfriend?
Like that's going to happen, Naomi. Look at us. I'm a tiny Italian. You're a ditzy blonde.
Hey!
No offense. And Anderson here. Well, I guess she could land a boyfriend or girlfriend if she wants.
Or girlfriend?
She can be a lesbian if she wants.
True.
That's okay. I don't want a boyfriend.
Why not?
They're a lot of work.
Here. Might as well get a boyfriend.
Maybe she's just not interested in a relationship,
That's
Suzu.
kind of contradictory. Why would I want a boyfriend about to go to college? It wasn't really about wanting a relationship, but more if there was no one interesting enough to be in a relationship with. Don't get me wrong, I'm an open person, but there were not many interesting guys in the school to go out with. Who knows? Time will tell. Naomi looked at me, wanting to continue the conversation. However, before she could speak, the speakers in the cafe started up and an announcement echoed through the cafeteria.
Miss Anderson, please come to the main office immediately. Please bring your things with you.
Oh my.
Looks like our plans have been cut short. The men in white coats have finally come to get you.
Well, it was nice
Suzu,
knowing you
don't
two.
joke around. What if it's serious?
Fine. If something happens, just call us.
Funny enough, something did happen. And it was certainly no laughing matter. Cold. It was really cold. The rain became heavier that afternoon, even though it was sunny in the middle of it, accompanied by rolling thunder now and then. The skies had turned dark, though I couldn't see any of it under the black umbrella. Not that I was looking up. In fact, looking up was the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. I stared at the grass beneath my feet, unable to look up at the people weeping around me. All I could see was the damp grass underneath my feet. Only the monotone eulogies that floated through my ears reminded me that I was at a funeral. It was only when the speeches ended that I was finally able to raise my head. A small gathering of people, mostly made of relatives I didn't even know or related to me, were huddled around a simple, small grave. For a while, all I heard was the sound of raindrops on umbrellas. If it weren't raining, everyone would probably be in a heavy silence. I looked beside me where my father was standing and holding up a large black umbrella for a small family of 3. His face was emotionless, a strange sight next to my weeping mother. I wondered what was going through his mind. After all, etched into the smooth gray tombstone before us was his father's name. My grandfather, the one who raised me like his own daughter, had passed away that day. The ceremony was small, only close family were allowed to come. Slowly, though, the people began to leave, leaving my father, mother, and me behind at the grave. A man dressed in a clean black suit under the uniform black umbrella at the funeral attendees walked toward us, introducing himself as grandfather's lawyer. He pulled out a few documents from his suitcase and began to read aloud its contents.
And now, I shall read Harold Anderson's last will and testament.
Only my parents and I were allowed to be present for my grandfather's will. It was under the strict request of his lawyer, and there is a reason why.
And to my dearest granddaughter, I give my estate. All the furniture and
Oh
decor that
shit,
resides within
guys.
the house
I'm
shall also be
loaded.
given to my granddaughter.
What? I couldn't believe my ears. I was loaded. At 18?
He passed the family estate to her? Why am I not surprised?
Damn, sounds like my dad's
Dear.
jealous.
Well, did he say anything about what will become of the CEO and chairman position of the Anderson Toys Company?
No. It is presumed that the vice chairman will succeed the position.
Probably because you're a little bitch.
Even to the bitter end, he wouldn't give in. What a stubborn old man.
And what a little bitch. Shaking my head, I turned my father to face my mother with a serious expression on his face.
About the estate. Should we send her there to get used to the building? It'll be a good place for her to live after high school.
Are you sure we should?
I'll throw wild parties.
Why not? This would be a good experience for her.
You sound a little salty.
Honey, what do you think?
I think my dad has issues. I really wasn't sure what to say, except, hell yeah. Why did my grandfather think that I was the appropriate heir to the mansion? Was I even ready to live on my own? I don't know, but I think it's obvious that it's because my dad's a jerk.
Well, that seems to be it. We'll be taking our leave now. I'm sure the little heiress needs some time to adjust.
Hey man, say what you want, but I'm rich.
David!
Whoa. He, really made it out there. Even though she raised her voice, my dad wordlessly began walking back to the car, disinterested. I should really say, my dad wordlessly began speeding back to the car, disinterested.
Don't mind him, honey. I think that your grandfather's passing really affected him. Why don't we get back home for now?
You can go ahead to the car, Mom. I think I need some time alone with Grandpa.
Oh, of course. Take all the time you need.
She gave me a quick hug and hurried after my dad. I looked around the funeral grounds, which was completely empty, save for the solemn-looking grave that was laid out in front of me. I'm sure that if Grandpa were in charge of arranging all this, it would have been much different. It was blatantly obvious that my dad was in charge of the whole event. Who else would bury their own family the same day they pass away? Everyone knew my grandfather's love for toys, and yet the grave was a mere stone slab on the ground, void of any children's toys. My dad didn't even bother putting flowers. His disdain for my grandfather was almost pitiful. Sorry, Grandpa. I tried to force out some words, but only thing that came out was a choked sob. He told me to stay strong, but right now, I'm the farthest from it, like that one time, a long time ago. Grandpa!
Oh, it's so good to see you again, sweetie.
I was sucked into a giant bear hug, and both laughed as he swung me around like an airplane. It was one of my favorite things about seeing my grandfather, the way he greeted me. Unlike my father, my grandfather was loving and playful, even as I grew older. Sorry that Daddy couldn't be here today. He said he wasn't feeling too good again. It had always been like that. Dad missed every visit to Grandpa's house, citing that he was busy with work or wasn't feeling well.
Is that so? Well, that's okay. Daddy can come around next time. And you're here, right?
Yeah. So what are we gonna do today, big Grandpa? Mommy says that there's a new dessert cafe open in town. Maybe we could go?
Oh, I would love to. But I've been so busy with the company these days. We're actually working on a little something. Would you like to see?
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
It is. I was designing a new line of them, but I feel like something's missing. You don't think you could help me out, could you?
He placed a toy in my hands with a smile, and I inspected it carefully. It was beautifully crafted, and obviously a lot of work was put into it. There is one thing, though.
So, what do you think?
I think the heart in its chest should light up when you hug it. It'll be like it's alive, and it can be like the little nightlight before you sleep. Aw, feels music. He stroked his chin, considering my input while nodding his head. After a few moments of silent deliberation, he turned to me with a chuckle.
That's a great idea. I'll get to changing it right away. You're always like my little lucky charm, dear.
Okay, can you stop making me attached to you, please, fictional character? Because you're making me pretty attached.
You want to make toys as well?
Well, I like making people happy, and it's the best feeling in the world. I don't know if I want to make toys when I grow up, though.
Don't worry too much about it. You have plenty of time to decide. Besides, you should do what makes you happy as well.
That makes sense. Daddy doesn't think of it in the same way, though.
Your father. I'm sure he just wants the best for you.
I'm not so sure about that.
Sweetie, look at me.
He bent down to look at me at eye level with a serious look on his face.
As much as your father may say something that doesn't make sense now, you must remember that he's always thinking about you. He loves you. There's no doubt about that. And you need to love him just as equally.
I never said I didn't love him. He's just a jerk.
Your father and I have had some difficulties with each other in the past. But it's nothing that you should be concerned about.
Well, I live with him. The only people who had stayed quiet were my father and grandfather. Both of them refrained from saying a word on the subject matter, but it was clear that whatever happened set up a wall between them. It's hard, though, trying to pretend as if nothing were wrong.
However, no matter what, you have to stay strong. You're a big girl already, and, well, there'll come a day when it seems like it's you against the world. But always remember that your family and friends will be here with you. Daddy, Mommy, your friends at school, me. We'll stand together to get through it.
That's what fictional friends are for, Grandpa.
Because we'll be right here and here.
Okay, no, that's so cliche, but it still gets me every time.
So stay strong, promise?
It doesn't help that you look like the doctor. For a moment he looked almost sad, pleading, but as quickly as it had come, the expression disappeared from his face, and he was all smiles once again. Promise. Upon hearing that, Grandpa let out a great burst of laughter and stood up.
Alright then, enough of that. How about I whip up some special homemade dessert? I know I can't accompany you at that new cafe, but we sure can talk and eat while I cook and do some paperwork. Hey, slow down there. I'm not what I used to be.
Can you not? You willed me the very home I'd love to see you in. Why? Why would you think I'd be ready to take it, especially after this? A surge of anger bubbled within me, but I quickly swallowed it. There was no use in getting mad, especially when the person in question was no longer there. I'm sorry, it's hard to stay calm when you've left me with so many questions, especially about what happened between you and Dad. What am I doing, talking to a grave? My vision blurred, and I suddenly realized that I was crying. My face heated up as tears rolled down my cheeks. I'll bring you some flowers later. I miss you, Grandpa. I'll try my best to fulfill my promise I gave to you, even if the world might be turned against me. I left the grave, wiping my tears hastily so my parents wouldn't see.
Well, it's time to head back home. I'll cook up your favorite lasagna when we get home, okay?
Alright guys, as you can see, I'm gonna save it here. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. I think this game is going to get very serious, so I may have to put up some warning signs. Although it is PG-16, I guess. But if you liked it, go ahead and leave a like. If you have any thoughts about this game, go ahead and comment. We'll see where this goes. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.